Here's the Shrek franchise ranked. So I've reviewed all 6 movies. Let's get started. Coming in at number 6, the most lazy movie, the most lackluster movie is Shrek the Third. Now, honestly, I think this is actually a pretty decent movie, so that's actually pretty good for a franchise. Of like, if your worst movie is actually just a decent, watchable movie, I can still enjoy this. I mean, I think the animation is good. I just like hanging out with the characters. They're fun. I like hanging out with Shrek, Donkey, and Puss, and Fiona. So I enjoy it. And I honestly don't even have that many negatives on it. It's just boring. A mixed aspect is that I like the body swapping with Donkey and Puss in Boots, but there's just not enough of it. And when you incorporate an element like that, there's some really interesting stuff that you can do. Like comedy-wise, you can actually do some pretty interesting stuff with that. But also story-wise, like, again, you could have had Shrek and Fiona swap bodies, and Prince Charming is trying to kill Shrek, but for the entire movie, he has the wrong person, because I thought Shrek was in Shrek's body, but Shrek is actually in Fiona's body. That actually could have been kind of cool. But, I mean, like, that's a cool idea. They just don't do much with it. The negatives, Prince Charming, I don't find interesting. He's not really an intense villain. I don't really like him that much. And the other negative is it's just kind of a boring movie. So the movie is Shrek the Third is watchable, but I think it's just kind of boring. Moving on, number 5 is Shrek Forever After. This is a good step up from Shrek the Third, and this is actually a pretty good movie. There's more interesting things. Shrek wants to relive his glory days, so I actually really liked that. Rumpelstiltskin is a pretty good villain. He kind of won in the movie, because, like, he took over far, far away until Shrek foiled him. So, he's actually a pretty good villain. It has a ton of fun moments. Shrek terrorizing the villagers in the movie. Shrek breaking out of the castle was a lot of fun. Capturing the dragon was cool in the end. And I do think this makes for a good final chapter, which actually does stay a final chapter, because this is the last Shrek-centered movie. So I think it actually works out pretty well. And they also end this movie with I'm a Believer, as they did end with the original Shrek. So I liked that. The negatives, again, pretty minor. Rumpelstiltskin was shown in Shrek the Third, and he doesn't even look the same. So that's kind of a story flaw in this movie. I think they could have just done a different villain, even though I do like him. And I actually don't really know how the Prince Charming thing would have worked out. Would he have been late to save Fiona because the king and queen went to Rumpelstiltskin, and, like, Fiona just left in the alternate timeline, so I don't really know. So I don't think it really makes sense. So I don't know how that really would have worked. But other than those 2 negatives, I think it's actually a pretty good movie, so I enjoy it. Number 4 is Puss in Boots. The story, I think, is interesting, with Puss stealing from Jack and Jill, and Humpty is a villain. That was actually a pretty good twist. Puss and Humpty's backstory was actually really cool, with them being thieves, and then Puss turns into a hero. That was cool. The fairy tale tropes of Jack and Jill are villains. I like that. Golden Goose, they incorporate magic beans and the beanstalk to go into the castle in the clouds. I like that. So this felt like more like a fairy tale type stuff than I think 4 and 3. The negatives with it, again, not really that big. Kitty's voice was clearly a male's voice when she tries to puts his attention, so it was kind of misleading. So I didn't really like that. And then I personally didn't really find it as funny. I'm interested in the story. I'm just not really laughing that much. But other than those two negatives, again, another solid movie. I really enjoy it. Number 3, these top 3 could probably be tied. But number 3 is actually going to be the original Shrek. Soundtrack is awesome. All-Star, Bad Reputation, Hallelujah, and to end it, I'm a Believer. I really like that. Fairy tale tropes turned on their head. That's really funny. So I like that. The movie is really funny. Farquaad walking to the table, and he's actually short. I like that. And Shrek has a good character arc. He doesn't want friends. He doesn't want to let people in to now letting people in. Of like, now he has Donkey as a friend. He lets Fiona be his wife, or asks her to be his wife. So I really like that character arc. It's pretty good. The negatives, animation doesn't really age too well. And Lord Farquaad, not a good villain. He's in the beginning and at the end. Not really throughout the movie. Not a great villain. Probably one of the weaker villains. But other than that, Shrek, really good movie. Number 2 is Shrek 2. Prince Charming, who was late to save Fiona. That was cool. That was a cool motive for the movie. Soundtrack was really good. Funky Town, Livin' La Vida Loca. Accidentally in Love. Really like that song. Character drama, King and Queen don't approve of Shrek. Harold's Secret was interesting. Prince Charming. Getting with Fiona. Fairy tale tropes turned on their head. Fairy Godmother is bad. Harold is a frog. Fairy Godmother, I think, is a good villain. She tries to foil Shrek. The movie is actually pretty funny. I like the hairball bit. Fiona sees Puss for the first time and thinks that's Shrek. And like, for you, baby, I could be. That was funny. Climax, one of the best in the franchises, so I really like that. With them breaking into the castle to try and get to Fiona before midnight. Before Prince Charming and Fiona could kiss. That was really good. The only negative I guess I really have is I don't find it as funny as the original Shrek. I like the story. I really like the story. Just like Puss in Boots. I really like the story and I'm engaged with it. But I don't really find it as funny as Shrek. I would watch Shrek 1 if I want to laugh. But other than that, again, another solid movie. But coming in at number 1 is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. The negatives, I don't know how Kitty found out how Puss wasn't at the wedding when she didn't show up either. And a mixed was, I wish it kind of ended with the final battle with Puss in Boots and Death. But I do like Jack Horner. He's funny and it's entertaining. Positives, animation is the best of the series. It's kind of like a comic book. I think it's the funniest movie. The first 8 deaths of Puss was funny. The bell comes down onto him. So I also like Who's Your Favorite Fearless Hero? That's a good song. The action is cool. The fight with the giant was entertaining. The bell swings around. The chase in Jack Horner's castle was cool. The fight at the end with Puss in Boots was a really good fight. Puss's character arc of letting people in so that he's not this over-the-top, larger-than-life hero. I thought that was cool. And that he has to face his own mortality. That was really cool. A little bit dark, so I kind of like that. The villains, really good. I like Goldie. She's the redeemable villain. Jack Horner, funny. Death, symbolic, and tense villain, so I like that. So I like pretty much everything about this movie. I think Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is easily the best Shrek movie. That's my ranking of the franchise. Thanks for watching.